President says this war is basically over. We've decimated Iran, and Gavin Newsom blames high gas prices on Donald Trump. Here we go. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
It's amazing to me how Gavin Newsom, shape-shifting chameleon sleazeball, who knows a lot about oil because he puts so much of it in his hair, coming out and blaming Trump for high gas prices in California. California has the highest gas prices in the country. And he's saying that basically the war in Iran is the reason why. No, it's not. The guy shut down refineries. Valero just decided to close one of their oil refineries. It's going to cost them $1 billion to do it. And they said, we're out. We're done. California, oil-rich state, imports 60% of their oil from countries around the world, including the Middle East. Why? Because people like Gavin Newsom and the left and all these lunatics wanted to shut down oil and natural gas. And thank God, President Trump decided to end the war on energy. Thank God he won. And thank God American fracking and natural gas and American oil can save the day. In fact, the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, announced the opening of a refinery. We'll get to that in just a few moments. But welcome to the show. Very glad you're here today. President is speaking in Ohio. He's at a pharmaceutical plant. He just spoke a few minutes ago and basically reiterated what he said on his way out of the White House on Marine One today, which is a couple things. Got to pass the SAVE Act. You got to protect women from bio dudes in women's sports. You got to protect little kids from having their junk chopped off by greedy doctors and medical systems. And you got to get voter ID. You got to get all these things done. And Iran is basically decimated. Khomeini's son, who was treated for erectile dysfunction or impotence or something, is now in charge, apparently. I would not want to be anywhere near that guy because you know that they're tracking him everywhere he goes. But let's begin with a couple of clips of the president from, so as he leaves the West Wing, is about to get on Marine One, there's a gaggle, as they call it, of reporters. He then goes over to Air Force One, flies to this plant, and reiterates a lot of what he says here. So we don't need to just grab the audio. It just happened a few moments ago. This is the beauty of being able to stay on top of this for you. You're getting this fresh as it happens. So here's the president, first of all, talking about Khomeini's son.
Can you declare victory in this war if the supreme leader remains the Ayatollah's son?
I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to comment. But I will tell you, I just spoke with various countries, the leaders of various countries. You'll have a list. And they said they've never seen anything like it. We have, and I built it during my first term, and I used it. I didn't realize I was going to use it this much, but we have the greatest military in the world by far. Nobody close.
So the idea then is let's declare victory and basically get out. That was what Senator Tom Cotton was saying last night on Fox News. Let's declare victory and figure out a way out because we can't keep letting this drag on. The problem, though, is the Strait of Hormuz. That is the issue. And I was reading today in the Wall Street Journal on my way up to New York that Iran is still controlling the Strait of Hormuz. And they are actually now exporting even more oil than before as they maintain control of that. So the question becomes, what does the United States do about that? Here's the president commenting on the Strait.
Are you talking to CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should. I think they should use it.
How do
In
you
my
respond?
opinion, look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone. It's bottom of the sea.
President, how do you respond? Mr. President, how...
Okay, but getting control of the Strait is still something that needs to be happening, and that needs to occur. And this is where the question becomes, why would any state, why would any country want to rely on the Middle East for oil, knowing how turbulent it is? It's going to be turbulent in the next 1,000 years. It's never going to change. You know that as well as I do. Any area that is governed by religious theocrats will always have turmoil, because if that's what their guiding philosophy is, if it's not based on a constitution that is written by men and decided that although the Almighty has empowered these men, the men regulate things, not God or Allah or whatever. And then you got people fighting over the interpretation of that. This is the craziness there is going to go on the rest of my life, your life, our kids' lives. It's never going to change. Different players will be around. Different regimes will be in charge. But as long as there is a region of the world that is based on religious conflict that is going to last for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, maybe till the earth ends, which I thought was going to be any minute now, according to Greta Thunberg. I'm waiting. Giant asteroid now. I'm a little disappointed. I was reading a story about how NASA can actually now shoot down an asteroid pretty effectively. They've got this down pat. So if you, like me, were rooting for a giant asteroid to come and just end this whole thing, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I know. I read that article too, and I was like, damn it. I've been on Team Asteroid this entire time. But apparently we found a way to shoot it down without involving Ben Affleck, which is great. Now, Secretary Doug Burgum was on Fox News today. So was I. Shameless plug. Talking about oil and energy. So was I. Shameless plug. But the secretary said something that I didn't say because I didn't know about it, because I'm not the secretary, which is that we're opening up another oil refinery. Take a listen.
Under the Obama or Biden administrations, who are essentially anti-hydrocarbons. President Trump, with his energy dominance, which means energy abundance, which means have energy to sell to our friends and allies, and have enough of that it helps get prices down for American consumers. But this refinery announcement, it's a win. It's a win for American workers. It's a win for American consumers. It's a win for America, and it's a win for American shale producers, because this refinery, $300 billion project, is going to be tuned to handle those sweet light crudes that come from the Permian, come from the Bakken, and it's going to produce, it's going to be handling enormous amounts of throughput, and it's going to be able to put gas, diesel, jet fuel on the U.S. markets and help lower the prices. More competition in refining is great. We got lots of oil, having more competition here. So again, President Trump's energy dominance agenda in action, because all of this happened, the permitting and moving this project forward has happened in the time frame since he became president. Yeah. He's working at Trump speed to make sure we've got the infrastructure, again, for peace abroad, prosperity at home.
Thank God. Thank God. Because like I was saying today on Fox News, shameless plug, could you imagine if the war in energy was still going on and we were not fracking and we were not opening up refineries and we were not drilling? Let's not forget something. The Biden administration was getting sued on a daily basis by people who had permits to drill, and the Biden administration was blocking them from drilling. And of course, they turned off ANWR. They said you can't do any drilling there, no offshore drilling. They wouldn't allow drilling anywhere. They wanted oil and natural gas to go away. There's still a moratorium on fracking in New York State. So if these lunatics had had their way and won, we would have an even bigger energy crisis in America. But what I find amazing is that Gavin Newsom, that greaseball, comes out, shape-shifting political chameleon, and blames Donald Trump for high gas prices.
Energy prices are up across the globe. Oil prices are up. Gas prices are going up. Every $10 increase in a barrel is roughly 24 cents per gallon.
And of course, the price of hair gel is going up because the kind of gel that guy uses has very much a lot of petroleum-based jelly in that. 61 cents a gallon is the gas tax that they pay in California. 61 cents a gallon. This guy drove up gas prices to get people into electric vehicles. That's what he did. But he did other things. Other things I didn't have time to get into today, like shutting down refineries. And by putting in new regulations that, as, and we'll put this graphic up on the screen for you, Chevron warns Newsom adversarial energy agenda is going to cripple California's economy and send gas prices soaring. Why does this matter to you? It matters because California sets a stage for so much of what happens in America. You and I were about to be subjected to these draconian EPA rules regarding how many miles a gallon your car could get. And it was ridiculous. It was like 60 something miles. It was impossible to do. And then Trump's EPA had to shut that down. But California set the stage, and then the EPA went forward with this. And Chevron is now saying that with California's remaining refineries, and there's not many left because he shut so many of them down, just like on the East Coast, where the former governor, that idiot, King Philip the Unaccountable Murphy, his royal rugness, said he wanted to make New Jersey the California of the East Coast, and he shut down all the coal-fired power plants. Newsom shut down all these energy plants. And Chevron says this is going to kill more than 500,000 jobs, threaten national security, and spike gas prices by more than $1 a gallon, all to fuel a state-run shakedown of the energy sector. The proposed regulation will cripple the survivability of the state's remaining refineries, which will result in California losing the entire industry to this misguided program. Now, let's understand something. That's 61 cents a gallon in gas tax. Okay, if you're so worried about what your people are paying, and the average price there is $2 a gallon higher than what you and I are paying, why not get rid of the gas tax? Put it on hold. Temporary pause on the gas tax. No, you know why? Because Gavin Newsom said the oil companies will just spend the money. Wait, what? No, that's what he said. He put out a press release. I read it on my prep. How did you prep today? So as I'm driving up to New York, I'm not driving, but as I'm going up to New York and I'm reading my prep, I see that the state of California puts out this whole talking point memorandum on all this energy stuff. And they said, well, what about the gas tax? They said, well, if we just cut the gas tax off, then the oil companies will just spend all that money. The greedy oil companies will keep it. What are you suggesting, that when people pay a gas tax, that money is somehow passed back on to the gas company, like the oil company? Like that's a way that, so you're paying for the gas, and the gas tax that you instituted is also going to the oil companies and not going to the state coffers. That's what you want us to believe? You think we're that stupid that we're going to believe that? Apparently he does. And it's not just Chevron. You know, you've got other oil companies that are leaving these blue states because they've said enough is enough. Like, we can't take it anymore, and we're done. And New Jersey's one of them too. You know, New Jersey, Exxon is getting out. Exxon Mobil seeking to move their legal home from New Jersey to Texas. Why? Because New Jersey is insane, and the regulations and the prices and the cost of living, and Texas loves oil and loves oil companies and is saying, come to Texas. We'd love to have you. It's a business-friendly environment. We'd love to see you. Billy Bob Thornton will personally greet you when you come. Allie Leiter will definitely, I don't know if she will. She's from Jersey, though, by the way, from Landman, Allie Leiter, who's also in Varsity Blues. Cherry Hill High School West, I believe. I believe it's West. But I know that there are people listening who might have gone to East who get mad at me if I get that wrong. Yeah, there's a big division, Cherry Hill East versus West.
Can we text her? Do you guys still keep in contact?
Yeah. I can text Allie. Yeah. Let me shoot her a quick text. Hey, Allie, it's Rich again. And just check in. Was it East or West? Okay. Find out. And when will those schools unite? When will this civil war end? I don't know. Anytime soon, but they'll personally greet Exxon Mobil in Texas and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. It's just, it's amazing to me to think about the left's war on energy all these years, and whether or not you like Donald Trump or don't like Donald Trump. Like in 2016, I said to you, you got to vote for him because of the Supreme Court. Okay. And then he points all these great conservative textualist judges to the Supreme Court. That was a win, regardless of anything else. That alone was worth it. This time, and this is not to negate other things. I'm not trying to say like, well, all these, I'm not saying that. So what I'm saying though, if that was in 2016, say you were a Ted Cruz supporter and you had to hold your nose and vote for Trump, but you did it for the Supreme Court. And now you might like other things too, but that was worth it. In 2024, if nothing else, ending the war on energy was worth it. regardless of anything else. Like, you could hate every other policy he does, and I don't. I'm not saying I do. I'm saying, but that alone was worth your vote. Because the destruction the Democrats were trying to do on oil and natural gas, I can't overstate for you the impact it would have right now in the world, what we would be dealing with if we did not have American energy, American exports, the ability to be energy dominant in the world. And the fact that California has to import so much of its oil from countries when it's an oil-rich state is exactly what I'm talking about. The left hates oil and natural gas, the devastation they've wrought on these industries, and then to turn around and to say the high gas prices are because of the war in Iran. We don't need Middle Eastern oil. I understand that it's affected by the price on the world stage, but that's not the reason why it's so expensive in California. That is a red herring right there. This guy wanted those prices to be high so that you would have to buy an electric vehicle. That was always the goal. Always the goal. Force you into an EV. Mandate it. Make it so that gas-powered cars were so expensive you had no choice. And like I said, if he wants to, if all these governors want to just immediately put a hold on the gas tax so that everybody gets relief at the pump as the world global market stabilizes with regards to oil, go ahead, knock yourselves out. They won't do it because it doesn't go back to the oil companies. It goes to the state coffers. And there's no way these people are going to stop taking our money. And that's the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria of Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. 2 locations to serve you. Tomorrow is the Travis Manion Foundation Radiothon. So I will be there tomorrow. So there'll be no podcast tomorrow. No video podcast anyway. And we'll be raising money all day for the Travis Manion Foundation. Incredible organization for our veterans. Dr. Mike Veneria is the official phone bank sponsor because he loves our veterans. Let's talk about the SAVE Act for a moment here. The president commenting on John Thune. Before I play that, you have this runoff in Texas going on between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. John Cornyn came out today and said, we need to end the filibuster and pass the SAVE Act. He's doing that so he can get Trump's endorsement, because whoever Trump picks is going to win. Whoever Trump chooses in that primary is going to win. Trump's blessing, so to speak, on candidates, for the most part, is the defining characteristic in these races. Not always. There are some that are insulated from it, but for the most part, that's how that goes. John Thune, however, is not going to let the filibuster go away. He is going to preserve it. The SAVE Act is probably going nowhere. But this is what the president had to say.
Is Senator Thune listening to you when you say you want to pass the Save America Act? He says there aren't the votes to do it right now. What's your response?
Well, he's got to be a leader. You know, if he's a leader, he's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID and it's voter. You have to be able to be a citizen to vote. It's called citizenship. And we're also adding in no men playing in women's sports, no transgender mutilization of our children, and no mail-in ballots, fake mail-in ballots. We have none of that, except in the case of the military, etc. It is the Save America Act. It's the most popular bill I think I've ever put before Congress.
Okay. New CNN poll on voter ID and people who favor voter ID across the board. It is a supermajority across the board. Anything over 50% is a majority. So 51% is a majority. I'm no math guy, but I mean, that's just how it works. So anything higher than that, you're getting into supermajority range. We're in supermajority range when it comes to the popularity of voter ID.
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here, favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it, 82% of Latino, 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
Now, you know why? Because you need a photo ID for freaking everything in life. And the answer the Democrats give is that, well, this is a constitutional right. That's the difference. Well, so is owning a gun. That's a constitutional right. Yet when I bought my guns, I had to show my ID multiple times. Had to show my ID when I filled out the forms. Had to show my ID when I picked up my guns. Had to show my ID when I go to the range. I got to show my ID every single time. And luckily, my friends at Bob's Little Sports Shop helped me with that process every single time. So I want to tell you about them because they're fantastic people. Bob's is my go-to firearms retailer, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. And they're not just about selling firearms. They're about helping responsible citizens exercise their Second Amendment rights safely and confidently. They're going to guide you through the whole permit application process, helping you choose the right firearm for you. Like Brian laid out 6 on the counter. I tried them on the range and fell in love with the Smith & Wesson 9mm. Ladies, listen up. You know I love you, ladies. You got to make sure you're safe. There's a lot of crazy guys out there. So Bob's has their ladies only shoot coming up on March 28th at 6 p.m. It's a women only event. It features women instructors in a comfortable, supportive environment for ladies, taught by ladies. And if you don't have any firearms experience, you don't have a firearms ID card, no problem. Bob's welcomes you. You just have to go to their website and sign up, bobslittle.sportshop.com. And they're going to have more great events coming up. I'll be at Bob's in April. We'll talk about that as we get closer. bobslittle.sportshop.com. So you need an ID. Everybody needs a freaking ID. It's not that complicated. There is no MAGA split on Iran. I've been talking to you about the polling on this throughout the course of how this has happened in the last, it's only been 10 days. It feels like 10 years, but it's only been 10 days. By the way, tomorrow will be the 2-month anniversary of the launch of this podcast. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I want to thank you for following the podcast. If you are listening on the radio, remember it's the Rich Zeoli podcast. You want to look up and search on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and give it a follow. And I appreciate that. 2 months tomorrow is our happy anniversary, but there is no MAGA split on Iran. All right, so I'm going to put this graphic up on the screen for you. According to NBC News, among MAGA Republicans, 90% approve of the strikes on Iran. Among Republicans, it's 77%. Just non-MAGA Republicans, 54%. So a non-MAGA Republican would be just a Republican who probably voted for Trump, doesn't really like the guy, is not MAGA, doesn't dress up like brick suit guy. You know what I mean? 54% approve of that. Among independents, 27%. Okay, now you look at CNN's polling on this. MAGA Republicans, 88% approve of the strikes on Iran. 77% of people who are just Republicans. 61% non-MAGA Republicans. YouGov, 85% of MAGA Republicans. Now, I mean, you may be a MAGA Republican. I don't know. You may identify as that. Maybe you drive around with a Make America Great Again hat on your head, or you got a Trump bumper sticker on. You might fall into that category. Or maybe you're just a Republican who voted for Trump. You don't consider yourself MAGA, but you voted for him. You're at 76% approval. And maybe you're non-MAGA. You're literally non-MAGA, but you still are a Republican. 63% of those people still support the strikes. The point is, the strikes on Iran are very popular within the Republican Party, within MAGA. The outliers are the people that are pushing this idea that we are headed to World War III with boots on the ground. As I have said to you, and I will say it again, this will change in a heartbeat if there are boots on the ground. If there are boots on the ground, or this goes on longer than a few more weeks, this changes. For now, it's popular because we're dealing with airstrikes. That's the difference. And the warning that I've said since day one, the political warning, because I think a lot of these podcasters and radio hosts believe that their words somehow are going to convince the president to do something. So people say, why don't you advocate for something? there are certain things that are worth advocating for. The president has made his mind up. He's bombing the hell out of Iran. That's not going to change. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use my platform to say, please don't put boots on the ground. Don't let this go on long, because then the popularity will change in a New York minute. And you know I'm right about that. By the way, they brought out the new Supreme Leader. I don't know if this is real. I can't figure this out, Jared. You got to help me out with this. But this is it's a cardboard cutout. Can you describe this for me, if you would, for people to watch, listen?
So firstly, I thought it was like darts on his head. So it's called a cardboard cutout. The body is just cardboard. Okay.
Right.
It's his face, which I guess they just had a giant 8x10 or what is it like poster size of the guy's face lying around. So it's cut out and put on. And the only reason I will say that I'm not suspicious it's AI is the logo on the Iranian flags are too good. But a guy walks it in. There's flowers around the picture of the previous Supreme Leader. And then the guy that places it, again, because he couldn't be at this function because he didn't want to get done blowed up. But the guy that places it kisses it on the shoulder. And it's also it's got to be 8.5, 9 feet tall, right? Like, it's not life size. It's. Can I also say,
like
Rich,
I
want to review one more time. Like, I'm just gonna put this to start. They took the time to place feet onto the little guy. I think that's a nice touch. Even he's in like a
nice gesture.
Yeah, he's in a full smock or whatever. I don't know what they wear. I'm sorry. But
it's like a deli sandwich board. Like, the people that dress up like a sandwich and stand outside a deli shop, but it's not a guy. It's just a cardboard cutout.
Right. And it's got the clear fold
marks. You pose
marks
next to it and take a picture. It'd be like a cardboard cutout of Trump at a function, and you take a picture next to it.
Right. But Rich, to that point, you would never stand in front of this cardboard cutout. This cardboard cutout, it's got like the creases in it. It looks like they took an Amazon box, like unfolded it, and like taped the thing together and then stuck the guy's face on it. Like, there's that guy in Philly that runs around with like the fake trophy for the Super Bowl trophy, the Lombardi. Like, if that guy's Lombardi looked that fake, no one would have ever taken a photo with it. Like, it's desperate times, I guess. I've never been in an era.
I think it looks like my daughter Reagan made it with a box,
Yes.
like after I got something shipped to me, and then she just said, all right, let's make a cardboard cutout of the Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khomeini, who, by the way, underwent months of medical treatment for impotence in the UK. So I love this story. And maybe this is why the guy can't make an appearance, because he can't literally can't get it up. The second son of Iran's late Supreme Leader, who's assuming the position, who in that video is a cardboard cutout, U.S. intelligence documents. Now, this could be a whole psyop. I don't know. But either way, I love it. I don't care whether it's real or made up. I love this. Previously classified and later released by WikiLeaks reveal that this guy spent several months in the UK receiving private medical treatment for impotency. Sources say these treatments, including multiple extended stays, no pun intended, at London's Wellington and Cromwell hospitals, allowed him to father a son named Ali after his grandfather. Family pressure reportedly played a major role in his decision to seek treatment abroad. Now, I don't know why the guy just didn't do Blue Chew or something like that. They're not a sponsor. I'm not trying to give them free credit. Whatever your choice of, not that I need those pills, but I'm saying I've got a buddy who does.
You could contact.
Yeah, Blue Chew. If you're interested in sponsoring, feel free to just jump on in and and help me. Okay, does that? Does that? Despite personal health struggles earlier in life, Mojtaba built a reputation as a shrewd operator within the Supreme Leader's office. Intelligence reports describe him as closely managing access to his father, traveling with him across Iran, and maintaining strong ties with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The documents also note that he lacks independent clerical authority and is unlikely to ever achieve the status of Ayatollah or Mujahideen, relying instead on administrative and political skills. And he had months of treatment for impotence. See, I feel better about myself because I feel better about my buddy. My buddy who needed to use a pill one time. It worked for him within an hour. It didn't take months of being at a clinic overseas. Again, that's a buddy of mine. I want to make that point very clear. A friend of mine, not me personally. Okay, good. So in some other news, we've got a lot of things to get to. But on our 2-week anniversary tomorrow, I want to thank Jared for this. Look at this. Our first official Zeoli Army merch arrived today. This is an Owala, which is what all the kids are drinking out of today, is a beverage holder. And Jared, thank you very much for making this. Has our Zeoli Army logo on it. Look at that. Can you see that? If you're watching on YouTube, at Rich Zeoli Show.
Closer to your face. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Focus.
Nice.
It looks good. That's sexy.
It does look good. I love it. I'm excited. Thank you.
It's a little bit. I'm sick of you drinking out of farmed glasses. Like you got like jars from like whatever pickles and jams and all
jams
sorts of
and jellies.
Stuff. I thought maybe we should have something on theme for the rest of the pod.
For my birthday, I was drinking bourbon out of this Jack Carr glass yesterday.
Totally great with that. That's not the ones I see you use.
This will be better to fill up with bourbon for during the show because this can hold a lot of it. So thank you for that. We'll get some Zeoli Army merch. We got to do like a store, don't you think?
Sure.
On our YouTube page.
Wait, I'm so sorry. You said that like I was going to do that. Is that what you're?
No, I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying we, the collective, we have to do that.
Yeah. Every time you say we, you mean we. Okay.
We have to make a Zeoli Army store. I'm sure people would like this, and then we could do it with the color logo too if you want to do colored.
I debated. There was a color one, or this is the laser etch. I thought that seemed a little like classier.
Yeah, I know. I like it. If you're listening right now, it's we've just kind of updated the logo for a new era, but it's still the same Zeoli Army. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the color logos behind me. I like the silver etch though. It looks good. It looked good on a shirt. It looked good on a lady's shirt, a nice lady shirt at the Grand Hotel of Cape May this summer when we do our live shows. I got to get some dates together for them. But we're going to be there at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, and I'm excited for that. And nothing makes me happier than when I see somebody representing. Like, I want to give Carrie Marie a shout out. Carrie Marie is, I guess, on vacation somewhere, and she's rocking the Zeoli Army shirt. This is a Chinese knockoff that she must have bought on the internet, because I don't remember us ever making a hoodie like this with the Zeoli Army logo on it. But thank you to Carrie, who's out there making sure she's representing on her first outdoor walk of the season. I appreciate that very, very much. We are going to be at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey coming up. But in the meantime, make your spring break plans, because from March 29th through April 6th, stay 2 nights, save 5%. Stay 3 or 4 nights, save 10%. 5 nights or more, save 15% off regular rates. Breakfast included in all the packages. And Hemingway's restaurant, great food. The kids love it. My kids love the breakfast there. And my kids love that heated indoor saltwater pool. You'll love it as well. And Cape May's beautiful in the springtime. It really is. It's a great time to go. And you have the place all to yourself. You'll love it. So go to grandhotelcapemay.com and make your reservation today. And remember, it's never too early to make your summer vacation plans. grandhotelcapemay.com. And Chris Eppolito rocks his Zeoli Army hoodie everywhere he goes. He doesn't wash it. He wears it every single day. I love it. He just brings one and just wears it every day and just represents. I appreciate that very much. And when the ladies wear the Zeoli Army shirts, the tight fitting ones, the ladies cut, also makes me very happy. Best conspiracy theory yet on why we went to Iran has to go to Karen Johnson, a.k.a. Whoopi Goldberg. All right? Now, I've heard a lot of crazy stuff in my day. Every day I'm shocked by the craziness I hear. Sometimes I'm like, all right, that's the craziest thing I've heard, and now we're done. Like, we've reached peak crazy. You always expect that in life. Somebody who's an alcoholic reaches their point where they go, okay, this is rock bottom. Somebody on a cocaine bender reaches their peak. Somebody like the Ayatollah's son who's in for the impotence thing at some point, it rises up. Lindsey Graham now has had an erection for well over 10 days. So at some point you're going to peak blood flow. Peak crazy from Karen Johnson, a.k.a. Whoopi Goldberg. We have not yet achieved peak crazy. We might be close, though.
And it's just nutty as hell. Mm-hmm. It's nutty as hell. Yeah. And you're right. Every day is something new. And it's, I was thinking about it yesterday because I thought, well, okay, why haven't we been talking about Savannah Guthrie and what's going on there? And her mother. Why have we not been talking about the Epstein files? Because that's still there. Yeah. This is meant to get us so worked up that we are unable to see anything else.
So the war in Iran is done to distract us from Savannah Guthrie's missing mother. You got it? See, like if she had just said the Epstein files, we're like, all right, well, I've heard that before. We're fighting Iran and not talking about Epstein. Now we've one-upped it. The president has decided he's so sick of all the coverage that Nancy Guthrie was getting. And I get it because I got bumped on Fox News like 5 times because of it, that he decided to launch a war in Iran to get the story off the news so we can make it about him again and stop talking about Savannah Guthrie's missing mother. Got it? I know. You have, again, your brain, you have to put your brain into some sort of a freezer to comprehend that.
But let me ask, Rich, the underlying assumption is distract from the Epstein files because he's in the Epstein files, right? That's the assumption. So does that mean she thinks he's a part of the Guthrie kidnapping too?
Yeah, maybe he's in on it. Like Whoopi Goldberg thinks that maybe Trump is holding Nancy Guthrie in the trunk of the beast, the presidential limo. Like she's in the bunker, maybe. To get back, what's Savannah Guthrie work for? CBS, ABC? Which one is? I forget which network it is. NBC? It's NBC, right? Yep. To get back at them for being fake news, he decided instead of having Brendan Carr go after them, he would just kidnap Savannah's mother and teach them a lesson and then bomb Iran to distract everybody from the fact that he kidnapped her mother.
He thought he wouldn't get caught. He knew he wasn't going to get caught. And then he was like, oh no, they're going to catch me. I better bomb Iran. The walls are closing in on my Guthrie.
It turns out it was Trump on that ring cam. And he just told the Secret Service he was going from McDonald's and went and kidnapped her.
They just let him go. They're like, yeah, head out.
Yeah, and now that the footage is starting to come through, like the end of the movie No Way Out with Kevin Costner, and they're starting to see that it's him. He's like, better bomb Iran before they figure out it's me. No Way Out's a classic. I highly recommend you watch it if you've not seen it. Fantastic movie. One of Kevin Costner's. It's an oldie, but a great movie. Let's talk about the other topic that I was talking about on Fox News today, shameless plug, which is CNN. And yesterday we showed you the tweet that they put out, or the X post, where they said, these 2 kids from Pennsylvania going into New York on an unusually warm day. And next thing you know, they find themselves throwing bombs. You're having a bad hot dog, a street vendor hot dog, and you get sick. You're eating a pretzel, and next thing you know, it's so ridiculous and over the top. But it doesn't end there. Abby Phillips on CNN, even though CNN had, by the time she said this, retracted the post, put out a statement saying that they were wrong to put it out this way and that it did not rise to their editorial journalistic standards. And the reason why they did this, by the way, is because they wanted to make it seem like these kids are heroes. They went to New York to just catch a show, see the city, saw an anti-Muslim white supremacist rally, this is their narrative, and then decided that they had to bomb it. People that wrote that at CNN, make no mistake, their goal was to make these guys look like heroes. That's what they were doing. We've made a lot of jokes about it, and there's a lot of jokes to be made about it. But do not, please, miss that underlying crucial point that this was done to make these guys look like heroes. Please don't let that point gloss over. Not that you will. You're the smartest audience in the history of radio, podcasting, broadcasting, YouTube, whatever it is. But other people are forgetting that point, which is why I made that point succinctly today in America's Newsroom. Shameless plug. 18th mention of the show today.
Wow, were you on Fox? Jeez.
Did I not mention that? My bad. I apologize. I should have said something to
show
people
notes.
about that.
I want to make sure nobody misses that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was on America's Newsroom this morning with Dana Perino and Bill Malone.
Front of the show. It's kind of deep in the show. You should front load it.
Yeah. I gotta remember to not bury the lead, as they say.
Exactly.
My bad. Getting better at this. Well, here's that Abby Phillips from CNN.
Up next, 2 Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really.
Okay. So she put out a statement on X. I'll put it up on the screen for you, and I want to read it. I want to correct something I said last night. The bombs thrown in New York City over the weekend by ISIS-inspired attackers was thrown into a crowd of anti-Muslim protesters and not specifically targeted at Mayor Mamdani. That wording was inaccurate, and I didn't catch it ahead of time. I apologize for the error. That's her tweet. Now, the question that I have is, does Abby Phillips just read from the teleprompter? In other words, is she Ron Burgundy? Is she Ron Burgundy? Because that's a classic Ron Burgundy. She's basically using the Ron Burgundy excuse here. When he says, go F yourself, San Diego. And people are like, oh, Ron. They go, well, he'll read anything you put on the teleprompter. She's using that excuse. I didn't catch it ahead of time, meaning that whoever was in the control room putting the words on the teleprompter that she reads, she didn't catch it. So she's actually trying to throw that person under the bus. So it's not really an apology if you think about it. It's actually designed to throw the poor teleprompter operator under the bus. But still, if you're an anchor, you would assume that you're not just Ron Burgundy. You don't just read whatever's on the teleprompter. You take a moment to process it. I don't think it was actually a mistake on her part. I think she saw it. I think she knew. I thought she figured she could get away with it. And then she did it because it wasn't the only time it was said. It was also said by Ana Navarro on the exact same show on CNN last night.
Ironic is, so supposedly some of these comments are as a result of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani in New York, who was raised Muslim, was he not? Himself. Yeah. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over something.
To be clear, the attack wasn't on Mayor Mamdani. It was on people protesting. It was attacking protesters, people protesting Mamdani.
Right by his house.
It wasn't to frame it as an anti-Muslim attack would actually completely reverse what happened. Someone who shouted
I'm not saying that it was anti-Muslim. I'm saying that they're
bomb
finally
that didn't go off at the protesters.
Republicans are finally doing something.
Okay. What the media is trying to do, and what my friend Melissa DeRosa pointed out this morning on America's Newsroom, she was on the panel with me on Fox News, is that you had to go five paragraphs in on the New York Times article before you even got to the fact the bombs were thrown at these anti-Muslim protesters by these radical Muslim terrorists. You had to go 5 paragraphs in. Mamdani, the mayor, has still not acknowledged this as an act of terrorism. He's just condemned violence. That's all he's done is condemn violence. There is a deliberate effort right now by the media to mislead people into believing that this attack was done by these people who were protesting the rise of Islam in New York City. They want people to be confused. It is not a mistake that this is happening. Please understand that. And I know you do, because again, you're the smartest audience in broadcasting. I'm just saying that as the passionate guy that I am. Please don't let these people get away with fooling you. They want you to believe that maybe it was the anti-Islam protesters that did this. They want that doubt in people's heads. Even my buddy Lydia Moynihan from the New York Post, who I've had the opportunity to be on the air with on several occasions, brilliant woman. But, you know, every time she goes on there, it's the same thing with my friend Brianna Lyman. And I text them the next day and I'm like, great job on CNN last night. I don't watch it, but I see the clips, you know, and they always say the same thing to me. I hate being on there. I can't get a word in edgewise. It's like 18 on 1. And then I'm always thinking of what I should have said. And it's not easy to be the Republican in that place. They have not responded to me, by the way. Early on, Brianna and Lydia put me in touch with the booker for Abby Phillips. And they reached out to me. They said, great, let's get you on the show. And they saw a couple of my Fox clips, never reached out to me after that again. And why do you think that is? Out of curiosity. Why do you think that is? Am I not TV ready? I mean, the number one cable network in the country by far keeps bringing me back on. Makeup artists take care of this look, which I wiped off the makeup from today, which is why if you're watching on YouTube at Rich Zeoli Show, nose looks a little red today. Not because I haven't had any booze yet. It's just my rosacea is kicking up. Ashley, who did my makeup this morning, was like, Rich, looking a little red today. I said, yeah, Ash, you're going to need a little more powder on that thing. But is it the fact that I'm not good on television? I mean, I think I'm okay. I mean, some days I hit it out of the park. Other days, so. It depends on the topic. It depends on, the time of day. It depends on a lot of different factors. Or is it the fact that they're afraid that I'll go on CNN and I'll throw down with these idiots and I will make sure I'm like Wyatt Earp. I'm coming and hell's coming with me. Hell's coming with me. I think it's that. That's what I think it is. What do you think it is? Anyway, here's Lydia from last night.
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims?
There is a radical strain of Islam that's led to these terrorist attacks. Obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are
people
peaceful.
with terroristic ideologies here and all around the world. What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
Yeah, and let's be clear.
I'd like to hear the answer.
I'm talking about what Mike Johnson was saying.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what he didn't say.
But you haven't read his full quote.
What I'm talking about is what he didn't say.
Islamic extremism without compromising our commitment to religious liberty. He was chiding those 2 members of Congress. And by the way, as a Republican,
was he?
As a Republican, I believe that the same. I believe that the same amendment.
There are strong language.
The same amendment that gives those 2 members of Congress.
Or is it bigotry, Joe?
The same amendment that gives those 2 members of Congress the right to say things that are offensive, that I find actually offensive as well, is the same amendment that permits Muslim people to be here proudly and practice their faith.
Nobody said that Mike Johnson should.
Okay. That's Joe Borelli, by the way, Republican strategist, who was saying that. They pile on Lydia. Lydia's point is, and what they're trying to do is distract from the fact that you had Muslim terrorist attacks in New York City. Look, I'll be honest with you. There was an article years ago in The Atlantic, and it said the problem with Islam. And it was talking about ISIS in particular and the extreme ideology of ISIS with regards to that religion, to the point of, and this is where you get into the stoning women who commit adultery, stoning of gay people, stoning of non-believers. In other words, if they determine that their other Muslims are not the true Muslims, they should be stoned to death as well. And when you stone to death, you're buried, and then they literally stand and throw rocks at your head until they kill you. This is all under the guise of what ISIS wants, and their goal is to bring about a caliphate. A caliphate is the end of the world. It is the apocalypse. That is the goal of ISIS. This is crazy. It's crazy town. And anybody who supports Sharia law or anybody who supports any of those extreme Muslim ideas needs to be condemned because it is freaking crazy. But what happens is the left tries to say that any criticism of the theocracy of Islam being used in government, which is what Sharia law is, right? So theocracy being that becomes your governing principle. We are a constitutional republic. In Iran, it's a theocracy. It is run by religion. To criticize that means you're anti-Muslim. So they try to do that little Jedi mind trick game. Then you have an attack, an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack by these Muslim kids from Pennsylvania who just go on a beautiful New York day to enjoy the city and then find themselves just throwing bombs. And then they try to distract from that by saying that there are people in Congress who are condemning radical Islam and saying that radical Islam is not welcome in the United States of America. I got news for you. Radical Islam should not be welcome in the United States of America. It should not be welcome anywhere in the world. The word radical in anything, before anything, should not be welcome in anywhere. Because the very nature of that means that you're going to be an extremist to the point of doing something violent, which is what Sharia law advocates, which is violence. Literally killing other Muslims, the Sunnis or the Shias or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, whichever side it is. You know, if you make jokes about the Prophet Muhammad, they'll kill you, you know, all these other things. But they want to distract from that. So you can't have an intellectual conversation about this. And you can't have an intellectual conversation because it's again going back to the ism or ist. You're racist, Islamophobic. See, and then they do that. So Lydia's point is like, we just had 2 Muslim terror attacks in the last 10 days. And they're like, well, that doesn't change the fact that there's some people in Congress who said radical Islam is a problem. It's like, well, yeah, but that's why they're saying it. And to Joe Borelli's point, he's not suggesting that Muslims are not welcome in America. People are not saying that, but they're saying that you need people like Mamdani, for example, to condemn these radical acts of terrorism. He's not doing that. He's just condemning violence. That's all he's doing. Violence in any kind, violence in any shape. That's what he's condemning. He's not actually condemning this. He's not actually condemning the terror attacks and saying that they were acts of Muslim terrorism. They're not doing that. By the way, if you're wondering how people feel politically speaking, Democrats only outrank the despotic Iranian regime, according to a new NBC poll. That's right. That's how low Democrats have fallen as we head up to midterms right now. An NBC News poll published on March 8th asked a number of standard questions regarding the economy, military action in Iran, and the overall performance thus far of President Donald Trump. But it also ranked a number of key figures and organizations based on their net favorability. The Democrat Party, with a net favorability of negative 22, ranked near the bottom of the list. In fact, only the Iranian regime ranked below the Democrats, with a much lower net favorability of negative 53. Okay? Democrats, negative 22. Iranian regime, negative 53. In case you're wondering, a Villanova guy by the name of Pope Leo, 14th ranked highest overall with a net favorability of 34. President Donald Trump's negative 12, the Republican Party's negative 14, Democrat Party's negative 22. And then the Iranian regime at negative 53. So that's how popular the Democrats are. And maybe part of the reason is their pronoun stuff. I wanted to get to this clip yesterday, and if you've heard it already, it's okay. It's worth hearing again. Brendan Gill questions the former CEO of 23andMe about all these odd pronouns that various people have. Now, I use Caesar because it sounds like a salad dressing, and I like that. I want to identify as a Caesar salad. A nice anchovy. I always get anchovies on my Caesar salad. I don't know about you, Jared, but for me, a Caesar salad's not complete. Always, right? And I think it's a scam when places charge extra for the anchovies. That's not right. Like, anchovies should be standard with a Caesar salad. That's how it's supposed to be. In fact, if you don't get the anchovies, you should get a discount, but you shouldn't have to pay for them, in my opinion.
Isn't
anchovy
right? like isn't the like the juice of an anchovy?
Yeah.
Part of the Caesar sauce?
You take the anchovy and you ground it up along with some garlic. Charge me extra for that.
Shrimp, chicken.
And then I want anchovies thrown on top of it. That's what I want.
Yeah,
you know?
Every time. Agreed.
So Caesar would be my pronouns, just so that I can confuse people when thinking I'm a salad dressing. But here's Representative Brendan Gill.
Here's a tweet that you guys put out in June of 2021. I just want to ask you, what does E mean as a pronoun? It's E.
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know what M means as a pronoun?
I'm also not sure.
Okay. Seemed don't you think it's important to know what these mean?
Yeah.
You guys are in this post. You wrote, or somebody on your comms team wrote, that using the correct pronouns impacts trans people's health, can reduce the risk of depression and suicide. That's a pretty serious claim. It seems like if you're going to demand people use these pronouns, you would know what they mean, right?
Mm-hmm. I delegate. 23andMe had a lot of people. We had 6,
Right.
7.
You were CEO though, right?
I was CEO, but it doesn't
Okay.
mean I can oversee every single post.
Well, this is a very, very politically charged post that you guys put out. I would think that you would have a view on that. Can you tell us what is the difference between Z and Z? One of them is ZE and one is XE.
I'm not up to speed on that.
Okay. Does it concern you that not understanding this might increase the risk of depression and suicide amongst trans people?
I support my research team that felt that it's important for us to be inclusive of everybody, and it was very much grounded.
I agree, but it doesn't seem very inclusive if you don't know what they mean, right?
I respect the social team and the research team that put that post together.
Mm-hmm. But you don't know what any of these pronouns mean, but you guys are promoting it.
I assume it's different ways people like to be referred to.
Now, I know Joyce doesn't like the pronoun talk but Joyce, I just want to make a point, and that is that there are politicians out there who advocate this for children. Part of the Save America Act is to cut this crap off and knock this stuff off so that kids who identify as Zer don't wind up chopping off their schlong. So it actually is very relevant to the Save America Act, which should happen. It's protecting kids from this, and also protecting kids from having to room with trans dudes. Like this volleyball player, we have some audio of her. She got blasted for this. Brooke Slusser is her name. She had to share a bed with a transgender teammate. Didn't know the athlete was a biological male. She is getting killed on social media for what she had to say. And she spoke to Fox News Digital, and we have some audio of her. Take a listen to this.
It's hard. It's just the fact that it's like you find out you're like just chilling in a bed with a man that you had no idea about. It doesn't even go into the fact that like it's not like we were on top of each other snuggling or something. It's just the fact that I'm unknowingly sharing a bed at that time with a man. It's just so many little minute things that's like, this is just absolutely absurd.
It's absurd. And as Riley Gaines pointed out, no consent. She had to share a bed with a man. No consent whatsoever. So please understand why Brandon Gill's pointing this out is very relevant as the Save America Act is going on, because one of the things that would do is protect women from this kind of crap, and also stop little kids from having their boobies chopped off by greedy doctors and health systems. And whack jobs won't get elected like James Tallarico, who happens to love trans kids.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Remember that scene in the movie when I think it was Happy Gilmore, Jared, when he goes, "I ate pieces of S like you for breakfast." And he looks at him, he looks at Shooter McGavin, he goes, "You eat pieces of S for breakfast?" And he's like, "No." Do you remember that scene?
No. It was very good. Classic.
It's kind of like that. It's like, so you love trans kids? No.
Also, by the way, what a softball question. There's so many. There's literally 1,000 things you could say.
Right?
It's not like listen, there's gotcha questions. I give a lot of grace for gotcha questions. The girl with the neon behind her, she's not got, the gotchas aren't lined up, there's not a bullet in the chamber coming after James Tallarico here.
No, he could have said anything. He could have said chocolate bunnies. It would have been fine. He
Cat
goes with trans
videos on
kids.
the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
No bad answers.
I like getting rickrolled on YouTube. That's fine.
One bad answer.
Like,
say there's no bad answers. There's actually one bad answer. It's the one that he found.
It's the I love trans kids. All right, that's the show. Thank you for being part of it. Appreciate it very much. Tomorrow, join us for our Travis Mannion Foundation Radiothon all day long on Talk Radio 1210 WPHD. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and thank you for listening.
Let's go.